You know, really, as you listen again to that familiar story of the birth of Jesus, you realize what a colossal joke God was playing on all the powerful, on all the rulers, on all those who thought they were something special, on all those who thought they were in charge. That's the way God works. God doesn't have to prove that he is God. God is very comfortable knowing who he is, what he is, where he is, and how he works. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. God is ultimate love. God is love itself. And God chose to become incarnate and to make that love incarnate here among us on earth. But God was not going to show how great and powerful he was. God was not going to show that he was the one who was really in charge. God chose to reveal that love by humiliating and humbling and embarrassing all those who claim the power and the glory and the strength, which is God's alone. Can you imagine how proud King Herod would have been if an angel had appeared to him in his palace? Can you imagine the bragging rights he would have had about how wonderful he, King Herod, was because an angel came to visit him, King Herod, here in King Herod's own palace? Why, I'll bet even the emperor himself in Rome would have been impressed if suddenly the sky was filled with a heavenly host singing glory to God in the highest and peace on earth to those with whom he is well pleased. He would have said, it is a sign. It is a sign that I, Caesar, am the greatest and the most powerful person there ever was. But that's not what God did. God didn't bring a new king, a new ruler, one more powerful, one with greater strength, one who was greater than all the rulers who had ever lived. He didn't bring that new king of all the world, the king of all creation, to a palace or to a temple. He brought that king inside an innocent girl who gave birth, probably cold and alone in the dark, in a stable. And when that babe had been born, the angel messengers were not sent to kings and Caesars and rulers and potentates, but to among the lowliest people in that region. Shepherds, not even shepherds in town, shepherds who were way off on a hill, about as far away from all of this as you can be. And there the angel spoke to the shepherds and the glory of heaven was revealed to them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what those boys and young men must have felt? What they must have thought? That the power and the glory and the wonder of God was revealed to them in the middle of a flock of smelly sheep on a cold hillside in a dark night, some miles outside of an obscure little village far away from Jerusalem called Bethlehem. Let us go. Let us go and see this thing. Let us go and see what the angels have told us about. Let us go even unto Bethlehem. And they go and they find a baby wrapped in cloths, lying in a feeding trough in a stable on a back street in one of the most obscure villages in all of Judea. That is how God reveals God's power. Not with the strength of his arm, not with the might of his sword, not with his command of all the hosts of heaven to do his bidding, but God comes in love, in vulnerability, in darkness, in obscurity, to bring that love first and foremost to those who need it worst, those who need it the most, those who are the most obscure, the most marginalized, those who are on the edges, those who are cold and hungry and naked and suffering, those who are afraid and sick or dying. That's where God comes. God comes in the darkness to bring light. God comes in the midst of despair to bring hope. God comes in the midst of the lies and braggadocio of the rulers and the leaders of the peoples to bring truth, to bring humility, to bring what is real to those who are real, not those who live behind towering walls, not those who live behind gated communities, not those who dress in fine robes and strut around and claim to be the greatest that the world has ever seen. God comes to the least and to the lost and to the losers. Because God knows that's who needs that love. That's who needs that light. That's who needs that hope. That's who needs that truth. That's who needs that love. Keep it simple. Keep it simple and low-key. Invite that love of God into your heart, not only today at Christmas, but every day. Keep it simple. And when you are feeling small and lonely and apart, when you're feeling ill or depressed, when you're feeling as if the world is sort of out to get you, when you can't imagine what else could possibly go wrong because it has all already happened, that's when that light and that love of God will spring up in your heart. That's when you will know where the true power lies. That is when you will know where the truth resides. That is where you know your hope is ultimately founded. Because God will come in the darkness. God will come in the loneliness. God will come in the obscurity. God will come when you least expect it. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed to you. And all flesh, your flesh, shall see it. And with the shepherds, rejoice and glorify the Lord for all the great things he is doing.